Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Message from Deep Space. I'm Alex Rose, aka Safety Dad, and last week, Doppler's pretty sure that this week was going to be a big one. So let's see what we've got in store for us here. Perhaps they're going to unveil some new secret to us. Okay, so new word. Right off the bat, as per usual, it's an adjective, and it's kind of an abstract of round to sig figs. Of rounding sig figs equal to. So, if we take this collection, 0, 0 is kinda something 1. 0 kinda not something 8. 8 kinda not something 15. 8 kinda not something 16. 15 kinda 15. So my first thought was before or next to, because 0 is next to 1. But 0 is not next to 8. 1 is not next to 8, but it is. So it's not about being right next to something, but is the fact that there's multiple 8s important? Wait, there's not multiple 8s. So 1 kinda not next to 8. 8 kinda not next to 15. So 15 kinda 15. I am feeling like we should maybe switch kinda and is. But let's hold off on that for now. 8 is kinda not next 16. So 15. I mean, kinda not next. Right. Kinda not. Lead speak next. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so something about the polarity of 0 makes it have some relationship with 1. But 1, well, I guess they could be numerically close to each other. Like, what's the use of defining a uh, a collection then if we are not going to use their position or manipulate the collection in some way? I guess like in a given context. Uh, Suppose sphere at zero's area is kind of sphere one's area, and suppose and sphere zero's color is kinda close to sphere at one's color. Therefore, sphere at one, uh, we can say maybe kinda close. I'm really copying their formatting with that one, though. Let's take a look at the visual on the last one. I feel like that might provide an insight. Okay, we have several variable, wait, several spheres there, but we want to look at the last one. Yeah, I mean these look very similar. Uh, and in their context, their colors were close to each other. Um, and they were 2, 10, and 12. They're the same size. Okay, so we need our answer to equal sphere at var 0 is kind of close to sphere at var 1. So we want the two spheres that are close to each other or comparable. So I would say 3 and 2, just looking at these. Okay. Now, it's strange seeing semantic primitives here. We spent so long in Icarus astronomy or dealing with chemistry. Now we're dealing with words like kinda, most, all, kinda, abstract, below average, above average. It's quite a merry sight again. It's like the beginning, huh? You remember that? Half a year ago that was. Just us four working on the hydrogen line, learning how to do math again. That's what I mean by semantic primitives. Fundamental concepts. Only now things are abstract or specific. Ah, yeah? The way your language brain works is great. I don't really think much about what I say. Clearly. Not needed. And where did you come from? Go back to being quiet. Frowny face. How'd you get that frowny face in the log? Um, so I'm gonna change this to about. Um, about can mean that something is in the same area, that it is close to each other, or something similar. So that feels fitting for now. Okay, 512 divided 0, 1, 512 divided. Okay, wait. I see. So we have 1 over 512, 1 over 4096, 3 over a lot, and 1 and 2. So 1 over 512 is kinda about 0. 1 over 4096 is kinda about 0. And 3 over a lot is kinda the most about 0. 1 is not kinda about 0. Therefore, 2 is not kinda about 0. No? Going my syntax wrong? Therefore, 2, kinda not. Right, okay. Just a syntax issue. So, Carrie, why are you into linguistics? What drew you? I already know why Bautista's a computer whiz. But why are you into language? You know why I am into computers? Yeah, you obsess over this stuff. But don't get me wrong, I love your passion. Your genius is the wellspring of our celebratory confetti. And our dictionary, calculator, reference tab. So, Carrie, back to my question. Why linguistics? I earned my Bachelor's of Science degree in linguistics from the University of Massachusetts. I completed my PhD there as well before I was hired as an assistant professor at Boston College. I became a professor and was tenured at the age of 33, the youngest woman at the school to do so. Well, that's great and all, but I asked you why. What drew you to linguistics? I mean, you're certainly good at it. I want to know what drove you into the field. I'm curious, is this all? I appreciate learning other languages and studying how meaning is derived from words. I find I understand the world better when I put communication itself under a microscope. It is deeply fascinating and introspective. Uh, that's sweet. And that tracks. Okay. I am seeing that this about is relative to scale. Because saying that 8 is kind of about 2 is not true. At least it wasn't before. Um, and with 9 also being about 2, uh, not true. So this is and it's not just closest either, because the last the question with all the dividers had multiple things that were about 0. Okay, so collection 1, uh oh, so this is opening my eyes a little bit, because here we're given much more specificity, and when we're given much more specificity, then perhaps that precludes the more generic numbers from being close to each other. So in the first one, they are close to each other, but in the second one, they feel very semantically different. Okay, so kinda about or kinda not about. Those are our two answers. So shape 0, set number count equals 4. Shape 1, set number count equals 5. And shape 2, set number count is 64. So shape 0 is kinda about. It's a pentagon versus a square. Well, pentagon versus like a rhombus. You know, Carrie, that still wasn't an answer. Your whole spiel about language and microscopes and stuff, it was cool, but still not an answer. I could have read that answer in a college brochure. Well, it's my answer. Sorry you don't like it. It's fine, you're just being dodgy. But you don't appreciate the answer I gave. It's my answer. It's an arm's length away kind of answer. I'm an arm's length away kind of person. Don't say that. Aw, Collins. Collins, is this why you always leave Hot Patty's night early? Okay, so we have another say that something is kind of about or kind of not about. So shape 0 area is 3, shape 1 area is over 1,000, shape 2 area is 3.125, shape 0's number of sides is 5, shape 1's number of sides is 6. Uh, so pretty obvious that the closer one is shape 1. It is more like shape 1. What? It's not shape 2. It's it's not, right? What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, I see. No, it is shape 2. I had these areas mixed up. Okay, but that means the definition roughly holds. Okay, which of these two are kind of similar. So these three all seem pretty similar. So the sphere at 1, something kind of about sphere at 0, sphere 0, and sphere at 1, sphere 1, kind of about. Oh, perhaps we could do color. So sphere at 1, var 0. So sphere at 1, var 0. So we could say maybe they're X or they're Y. Okay, we have two variables that we need to define and come up with as being close to each other. Both use sphere 1 as their relation point. So, what does sphere 1 and sphere 0 have in common? These two. What do these two have in common? So, if we look perhaps at the size, we're looking at 0 is size 2.5, and 1 is size 2.8. Okay, yeah. So that would be size, which I think we have defined as area. And these, let's see, the other one, sphere 1 and sphere 2. So these two, their color is similar. So I believe we have a word defined for color. Yes. Okay. Felt pretty good about that. Glad that it worked. Okay. We have a collection 0, which defines 3 elements. Collection 1, which defines 3 elements as well. Differing slightly, replacing 0 with 3. Collection 2 defines 6 elements. And we say statement all collections set number count equals 3 equals false. Which is, yes, that's true. Collection 0, statement all collection set number 0 is false. Also makes sense. It's saying that there's not a 0 in every set. Collection 0 is kinda about collection 1. They differ by only 1 point. Affecting subject is. Answer this. Therefore, affecting kinda about subject. What? Affecting subject is opposite? What? Okay, so it's whatever these are, then we're saying something about them is true, and if if that is true, then they are kind of the same. Um, so perhaps if they are nouns, uh, sorry, Alan. I was acting more aloof than I should have. What are you apologizing for? Truthfully, that really was my answer. Learning how different languages derive meaning, it's fascinating. Thrilling, really. And for me, it really is introspective. Do you get that? Other languages hold a mirror to yourself, huh? Less a mirror and more a warm hand. I think it's a good answer, Carrie. I think so. Hmm. So about is kind of abstractly abstract above answer. Uh, uh, Something, and about is kind of not all equals. Above average. Um, I wish we had a word for just like a little something. Oh, I was hoping that maybe by saying above average, below average, we would say close to it. Kinda abstract above average. Uh, and about is kinda not all equals. Yeah, so it's saying that they maybe not with the above average psych. Um, uh, okay, because here they're saying about is also kind of not all equals to, which makes sense. Uh, because if something is around something, it is not that thing. Um, uh, Above average, maybe round to sig fig. Um, no, what are they trying to? They're trying to get us to confirm that we know how to use kind of. Hmm. And I've been abstractly using it to talk about anything that is close to something. But has it only been used in the context of things that are a little greater than? Um, Affecting subject is now, and therefore affecting kind of about subject. That's not really a greater than relation. This is not a greater than relation. So, what are we looking for here? These are all greater than 0. kind of above average in that concept. Maybe kind of abstract. Okay, I don't. What is this? Why did I define that? I mean, I'm just throwing word salad in. This one's a thinker. Kind of above average something, and kind of not all equal. No, that felt like a long shot to put collection as the answer there. So, what are we working with? And okay. They want us to solidify something. So if we have a word for closeness, that we could say it's above average close, that would be the best word. But I don't know that we do. We have is for when something relates to. No. Okay. It's is so here it's saying it's kind of not all equal. Uh, uh, maybe it's just not. No, no. Smaller. No. Kinda abstract above average. And about is kinda. Oh, wait, hold on. No, okay. I was thinking that maybe it had to be. It was kind of around all, but Da, 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 da. It's about is kind of the concept of being around a, the bigger part of the collection. Did I already do collection? Uh, I would. I'm. No, this is a bad approach. This is. This doesn't. This is bad. Wait. What? What does that mean? Okay, the equals word kind of above average must be wrong. Um, uh, above average, we need to revisit that definition then. Which means that we also need to revisit the definition of below average. If something is greater than the average, which is how we had it mathematically defined, um, it's the bigger part. I don't know. I really don't. Okay, negative 108 is kind of abstractly bigger, and negative 109 is kind of abstractly smaller. Um, can we just say that this is large and small because these are adjectives? Uh, Another good but small entry in the dictionary, Dr. Rose. All right, Alan. I let it go the first time. The big thing. Uh, Now you have overstepped into cheesy territory. Oh, what? Come on. Now I must step in to correct your mistakes. No, no, no. I'm just having fun, man. Nope. Ending log now. Hey, wait, wait, no. Okay, which makes me think that this would be more accurately better defined as big. Big progress going on. Uh, okay, so small is an abstract concept of smaller. Hmm. Okay, so collection zero's most big is approximately uh, collection zero's most small is, well, is kind of zero. I do think we should maybe rename is to uh like has atrophy or something. Unless we need to type it again. And then we can rename kinda to is. Is what? Is as in a verb for assignment. Dr. Collins is a woman. Dr. Bautista is programming. Dr. Alan Akers is the best astronomer in the world. Bautista, could you knock him down a peg? Dr. Akers is a failure at locating the aliens. Hey, that's not my fault. It's been cataloged yet. Yeah, I sure know how to hit where it hurts, Bautista. Okay, Recompiling, the most big is 1002. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it makes sense to have kind of still be an approximate when we have a literal approximation. Hmm. Statement star is big is true. Atom is small. Um, how come the aliens haven't defined a time unit for a day? That would seem intuitive, right? The rise and setting of the sun is pretty important to us, right? They've defined a unit on the scale of a second, a unit on the scale of a year. Why haven't they defined anything akin to a day? Well, their day is only 33 of our days long, so it might just be that they measure things in fractions of a year. Okay, an atom is small, and a collection zero of these atoms uh, what counts as a big atom? Well, I'd say atom 92 is a big atom from that collection. Star is big. Now, given that star 0 has 32,000 planetary masses, star 1 is 8,000 planetary masses, and so on for 16,000, 3,800, 131,000, and 7,000. Our smallest star is, it looks like star 3, which has a mere 3,800 planetary masses. So, yes, stars are big, but star 3 is small in the scale of stardom. So, our new signal has attribute adjective. And our new signal is abstract. Abstractly big. Now, big is already an abstract for bigger. So, it seems like this could be an emphasis word. So, this could just be as simple as something like very. Very good, Dr. Rose. Oh, I get it. Very, very good. Um, so electron is very, very small. This is true. Is electron not very, very small? Oh, very, very. It's not very, very true. It's very, very small. True is very specific. False is very specific. Abstract is not very, very not specific. Very specific not. Okay, not very specific. Very not specific. Maybe it's no very, it's just not specific. Abstract is uh, you've already said not very specific. I just want to make sure that I'm actually trying each of these variations with the different locations for the not. Yep. Okay, so abstract is something, and presumably it's very something. So, well, we have kinda abstract. Can we say it's a very kinda abstract? No. Can we say it's very grammar? Nope. Uh, it feels like there's some leap that needs to be made here. But I don't know what it is. Abstract is... So, specific is the opposite of abstract. And abstract is here as an inverse position of where true and false is. So maybe something like a statement? Or what's something, how can something be abstractly true or false? Um, is I feel like it should be very something. I guess that makes sense. If something is abstract, okay, so the answer that was accepted is very abstract. And sure. Huh. We're back to basic addition. 2 plus 2 added together is 4. Yeah, obviously. Too easy. And where's the answer this? See? Suspicious. Yeah, no way. Too suspicious for me. Well, 1 plus 1 is 2. Another suspicious one? Batista, is your computer glitching? No. All okay. And we're definitely building something, and I am not a fan. Is this the shoe dropping? Remember when I was scared what they were building to something? The spooky 2 add 2 and 1 add 1 transmissions? Those are stumpers for you? No, they were too easy. That's why they were suspicious. But it looks like we made it out okay. Wasn't too scary, actually. Okay, so we have a collection of 4 items, a new word, and new word 3, 0. New word 4 is 0. And new word 6 is 4. I'm going to say that this is neighbor. Okay, so this can move up and down the chain. So neighbor transmission, open parentheses, neighbor has attribute, dot, dot, dot. So that transmission was this one. Neighbor transmission is 1 1 add equals. So let's say adjacent. So adjacent collection equals adjacent one. Okay, never mind. Collection equals adjacent collection equals adjacent one collection. Adjacent one transmission is an adjacent transmission dot dot dot. Adjacent to transmission is adjacent has attribute. Okay. Adjacent. I see. So adjacent moves over one space, but we can move over multiple spaces by defining a different number. So adjacent 3 transmission, 1 1 add. Adjacent 4 transmission is 2 2 add. Okay, so something has attribute adjective. Something transmission is transmission 477. And this adjacent 1 transmission is 476. Suppose our new adjective transmission is transmission 170. Therefore, adjacent transmission, let's go up to 170. And this will be 169. Therefore, adjacent transmission well, it's not saying adjacent to 1, so does that mean that the transmission at that location? Because that's just, that would be 2 underscore 3 add equals. I guess that's why they give us the leading part. Okay, the Doppler is the origin. The humans are the destination. The meteorite moved from Doppler to the humans. The origin time is 0 seconds. The destination time is this many seconds. 14 million seconds. Right? New word. Let's add some notes to adjacent, though. Has different syntax. Adjacent by itself can mean the thing contained at that location, i.e. transmission 170 adjacent equals 2 underscore 3 add equals 5, or it can include a number to move over a set amount, typically backwards. Maybe. Transmission. 170 adjacent to equals transmission 168. So this word is the opposite of adjacent. And so 3 add equals, okay, so which transmission was equal to 3 add? We go back to our basic applications here. 3 add equals 2 multiplied. Yep. We're defining just number sequences here. We need one that just says 3 add. Three add equals and nothing else. Do we not have one like this? Because I feel like it would have been in the simpler parts. Is there another time that we've defined something simple like 3 add? Oh, we've got a lot of things to click through with this. Yeah, what about more recently? We have 2 add, 1 add. This transmission is transmission something. So if it's the opposite of adjacent, my thought process was that we needed to find the transmission with the matching information here. You know what? When we were initially talking about transmission numbers, then it may have come about there. Meteor signals. Let's try this. Yeah, there's 2 add. No chance of a 3 add. What if it's in the future? What if this is transmission 41? Oh my god! I did not expect that to work. So that would mean that wait, okay, what is the original context in which we got adjacent? So 3 is adjacent 3 is 0, adjacent 4 is 3. Okay, so this is always moving backwards. Probably just back. And where do we get negative 119 defined here? Okay. Negative 119 has attribute. Negative 11, it's an adjective. That transmission is translation 477 back 1 and transmission, so something transmission is transmission 477 back 1, transmission is transmission 476. Suppose something transmission is transmission 170, therefore back transmission I don't know. But I feel confident that this is forwards. And we're going to say contents. And we're going to double guess that. But we... it's... Okay, then maybe it's just 6. You sly dogs. Maybe this is next, and this is previous. You think they were talking about the previous transmission then? Maybe that explains those suspiciously easy ones. And this has attribute preposition, so it modifies something. What's our definition of preposition again? That rhymes. Relating to nouns. Okay. So, at, it feels likely so back something contents something forwards. 0, 1, so back 1 something forwards. Really confused here. Let's go ahead and just put the only preposition that I currently know off the top of my head and say that it's at. And it's a lot of guessing that we're doing here. Previous transmission at, contents transmission at. So the previous transmission 481 related to 480. No. Uh, would this be right? Previous transmission at something. No. I mean, 481 was the previous transmission? No. Previous transmission. Okay, well, let's start with contents, because we should probably have a better definition for it than a double guess. Where do we even define it? So content, so this is an adjective. Um, so the adjective something transmission is 477. And previous one transmission is 476. Suppose something transmission is 170, therefore previous transmission now this was the contents of 170, so therefore previous transmission doesn't feel like it work, except I guess it's because it's previous 0 and not previous 1. Okay. Let's change our definition to maybe current. After all, it sits between previous and next. Current, huh? You think that's what they're talking about now? We'll see if it fits, but gotta wait for the future for that. And future. The past has happened, the present is fleeting. The future is the only thing we can affect. So the only way to go forward. Okay. Feel good about those definitions then. So previous it affects so preposition here modifies a noun. So the if we say like previous of current, previous of current, current of future, no. 0 something 1, 0 1 something 2. Oh, this could be neighbors. Okay. And that would all track. Or this is still an adjective though. So I'm gonna look up prepositions. Actually, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna look at our Swadesh list that Dr. Collins was so nice to make. So let's see. Space, time, language, life, communicate, begin life, die, reproduce, goal. No. None of these fit. Uh, it relates where the cheeseburger occurred to the restaurant. We are eating at Hot Patties. Now, the formatting here could be that previous is before the current is before the future. And I feel like that could fit. So then, previous transmission adjacent. Let's recompile. Previous transmission before current transmission before future transmission. Is that not what I have it defined as? Previous, current, future? What? I don't know how that got unassigned, but future transmission. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, that is before. What have we learned? Previous and future. Am I dismissed? No, expand on the translation process. Well, with previous and future, we can discuss plans, desires, goals, which means, Doppler, some of your questions can be answered. We have the ability to discuss these topics now. With previous and future, huh? In other words, time. It's funny. Collins, kinds of words we discuss now. It's no longer just add and lines. They're real words now. Anti-math propaganda. She has a point, Bautista. Meteor's changed. We've grown. We have. We're nearly 500 transmissions into translating this message. There's one thing that's become more than clear by now. The aliens sent this message with intent. They're communicating something. It's our mission to figure out what. Dr. Rose, lead us towards understanding something of which humanity has never had a chance. For all of humanity and all of the aliens. Yeah, the contents of the transmission are definitely changing. And having a bunch of relative words is the more that we're able to build our ability to describe things as they relate to each other, the easier abstract communication becomes. Alan's journal. Let's do this! Our meeting at the end got me fired up. I must know what the aliens want to say. Bautista's log. A new face. Maybe my favorite. Colon D. Huh? Carrie's diary. Dear diary, Doppler echoed a point I've been mulling over myself. The aliens would not go through such trouble if there was nothing of importance to communicate. The materials investigation will garner knowledge that will long outlast myself. Knowledge we were not supposed to gain ourselves for likely another century. The translation and investigating is unveiling information we never would have been able to gain merely by ourselves. It's the story of a people. You know, some time ago, the meteor said there would be 977 transmissions. With this last week, we are more than halfway through. We are, well, I think we're actually about halfway through. We are around halfway through. Bittersweet. Another very good week. Lots of interesting words. Lots of relative words. And it's interesting to see what words that we use to define relative words initially, because like you would think that big is not too semantically different from bigger, but it does make sense the way that it was used because something can be technically larger than something else, but still not necessarily big in comparison to it. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting. Uh, well, that's going to do it. And as always, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.